Hi guys, I'm back with another review, and this time I'm gonna be reviewing the famous watercolor confection set. This is the tropical set from Prima Marketing. And I got this little cute set from Hobby Lobby, and as you can see the price was $30, but I had a 40% coupon, which you can usually find online on their website, and with a coupon I think it was around $16-17, something like this. So this is how it comes, just in a cardboard box like this. On the back it just has some information about it, not too much. You don't know what colors are actually inside. You don't know nothing about pigments, doesn't say anything about it, and I actually looked up on the website, and even on the website it doesn't have any information about the pigment or the actual names of the colors. It just says that it's 12 colors, metal palette, tin, and that's it. It's made in Korea. It says these are professional grade paints, provide bright, intense, smooth, and long-lasting colors that will work beautifully for any art and mixed media project. And actually, if you go online to the Prima Marketing website, you can find a lot of projects for mixed media or scrapbooking. They also have some stuff for pastels and other products that they make. So let's open this up. And here is the metal tin. Actually very nice and cute. And I got this for the sake of having something small to take with me. And if you go on Amazon and look up the 12 half pan just empty tins, they're gonna be about the same price, for around $20. So already you're winning. This is just a little insert, I guess, for color swatches. Just a piece of thin watercolor paper. You can use it later. And this is the set. Looks like this. So it has some nice mixing area here and here. And let's see, this comes out. Yes, so just like in other metal tins, you get some mixing area underneath your what is it, like pen tray. And if you go to my other watercolor review, when I was setting up my larger watercolor palette, I actually purchased the similar looking metal tin, just larger for more pens, from Lucas. And they also have the same system when you can take out this insert and use this as some extra mixing space. So let's take a closer look at all the individual pens. They come nicely wrapped like this. Where is the zoom? Right there. And it has a name, the name and the number of this color on the back. And this corresponds to the color on this card for the color swatches, but I think I'm going to rearrange the pens in my palette so they're not going to be in the same order. They're going to be more in the order that I'm used to with having the other of my palettes. So I might not use this, or I'll just overwrite different numbers on top of these. So let's open this up. Actually, it looks like candy, doesn't it? Like a small piece of candy. Very pretty. So I'm gonna carefully put this up. Oh, it's even numbered on the pen. See, it has a number on the pen, so you don't lose track of your colors. And if you need a replacement, you can go, actually if you go online to the Prima website, Prima Marketing website, you can order all the individual pens if you need to replace. And here the small half pen. This is number 13. and put it inside. And actually what I like about this palette is that if you want to go online or order some extra colors from Prima Marketing, you can put these pens inside here, or you can put a travel size brush. I don't have any travel size brushes with me actually, but I think I might do that. Or even you can, yeah, it even fits like this. Yeah, this is even nice. So you can fit 6 more colors in here, which is nice, I think. So I'm gonna unwrap the rest of them. Okay, so now we're back. All the colors are unwrapped. And I'm first gonna make a color swatch with the way that the colors are, and then I'll probably rearrange them. So let's see, I just got some water here. I'm excited to see what they look like. So as I said, you don't know what the pigment is, and actually what the colors are called are something like hurricane or a reef or a coconut. I don't even know how to say this. Pitaya, palms, tiki. So these are very cute names, but you know, if they're claiming to be professional watercolors, I would like to know what these colors actually are, like burnt sienna or yellow ochre. Okay, so let's see the first one. Ooh, very vibrant, very nice. Okay, so this is like a Viridian, phthalo green. Very nice vibrant color. Let's go next. This is something like yellow. Yes, this is yellow ochre. It even has the opacity of yellow ochre. You see it is less transparent. Okay, what's next? Okay, another thing I don't like is that these pens are moving. You can actually put in another pen between them. Maybe I'll just tape them down. So this is something like cobalt blue. But they're very easy to activate. You see, I'm just putting some water and it's already melting the pigment. This is nice. This is like green gold or leaf green. There's a color called a little more opaque. And that's fine. Okay, let's see this one. This is very bright. This is like a cadmium red or a vermilion. Try this one. Oh, this is nice too. This is very similar to the first color. They two look very similar, just this one goes deeper. I think this is more like a forest green color. They do look very similar. Do they have actually different names? This is number 13 and this is number 18. Yeah, they look much alike. This is another thing with the unprofessional watercolor sets, is that you have a lot of colors that look similar because they just reusing the same pigment. In the more professional watercolor sets, you get a variety of colors. Okay, this is number 18. Oh, this is nice. And this is like quinacridone rose, I would say. This looks like a nice color too. Very nice purple. And and this is like a dioxazine purple. Try this one. Oh, this looks a lot like a cadmium, actually yellow, a cadmium yellow deep, or even something like a gamboge. Okay, let's try next one. Oh, this is nice too. This is more of a magenta color. But again, you get two very similar looking reds. But I have a feeling this magenta color will be nice for making purple colors. So what's next? Oh, this is nice. This is like a Prussian blue. I think that's what I did, like what, Prussian blue, or it's I don't want to say it's phthalo blue. It's not strong enough to be phthalo blue, but it's something in the mix between Prussian blue and phthalo blue. And I wonder if these colors are just one pigment or they're a mix of different pigments. And this looks like burnt umber, but it's very opaque. It's very opaque. Burnt umber is a more transparent color. At least the ones that I used. Well, if you make a very thin wash, then you can get a transparent wash. So these are the colors. I got something here in the green. Take it off. We'll repair it. Okay, so these are the colors that you get in the set. And overall, I would say they're pretty diverse. You get 3 greens, you get 2 blues, you get 2 yellows, you get 3 reds, 1 purple, and 1 earth color. And let's see how they're gonna mix. So far I can tell that a lot of these colors are opaque, like this burnt umber color, number 24 is opaque, and number 14, which looks like yellow ochre, is opaque. The red is quite opaque. So we'll actually see how they're gonna mix. Okay, now I just want to do some color mixing experiments, and while I'm setting it up, I just want to mention that if you go to the Prima Marketing official website and you find this tropical set, or actually any other set, you can see the light fastness rating for each of the colors, and all of these colors actually have the excellent rating, which is 3 stars, except for the number 23 that has 2 stars. But it's still pretty good quality for the price that you get. If it really is that light fast as they promise, then it's actually quite nice. Okay, so let's start with some warm colors. I'm gonna take my red, and I'm picking up quite a lot of water to help them flow and mix. And I will take my yellow, which looks like cadmium yellow. Oh, this is quite nice orange. Okay, let's try now our yellow. And let's try this, what looks like a Prussian blue. Ooh, wow, this is gorgeous green. It looks a lot like a forest green, doesn't it? Now let's actually take this green that we have here, which I named forest green in the first place, but this is much brighter. I think this is the phthalo green or viridian. Again, I would like to know the pigments actually in these paints, because these two greens look very much alike. Okay, what should we mix? Let's mix again with yellow. Oh, this dried a little bit, but let's pick up some water. Ooh, also very nice gold green. Let's throw in some more yellow. So far colors mixing really nice. They're not muddy. They are not traveling that well. At least some of the pigments. You can see this clear separation between the pigments. Unlike here in the yellow and the red, you see a much better mix. But again, that just depends on the pigment. Now let's try this blue. The lighter blue, it looks like cobalt blue. And we'll mix it with this brown. Looks like burnt umber. And burnt umber, this color is much more opaque, so we're gonna pick up a little more of the blue to throw it in, and we're getting really nice raw umber color. So far very happy with the colors, so pretty. Now let's try and make some purple. Again, get this lighter green, lighter blue that we have, and I'll try with this magenta color. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is just gorgeous. Very nice mixes. Okay, what else should we try? Let's try this lighter green. And yellow. And see, some pigments are much stronger, like this yellow pigment is much stronger than green, so we're gonna throw in some more green. Very nice color. And we can actually throw in some red on the side. See what happens. Red is actually very powerful. I think this is cadmium red. Just look how much stronger it is. It's gonna travel. Yeah, it's not going too far. Okay, what else should we try? Let's try this Prussian blue and this rose color. Also very nice violet, darker one. Okay, and I also want to try this first green that we had on the palette. Again, very similar to this one, just lighter. And we're gonna mix this one with yellow. Also, mixing really nice. Let's mix yellow ochre with something. Let's mix yellow ochre with our green. Yellow ochre is not as strong, but it's still making very nice, more neutral green. Okay, what else do we have left? Oh, we have our purple. We haven't mixed purple with anything. Our dioxazine purple. Let's mix this one with this rose color. Wow, this is just, oh my god, this is so gorgeous. These colors are really, really gorgeous. And now let's try our yellow and rose. And what we're getting now is actually the color of the cadmium. You see this similar to this one? Or what we have over here, our cadmium red. This is becoming very similar to that. Very warm red, and if we keep adding yellow, we're just gonna make it more orangey. So far, very nice combinations, very vibrant, and the colors are mixing well. So what I assume is that these are all single pigment colors, which is good, because when you start mixing more colors together, not just the 2 but 3 or 4, this is going to be important so you avoid making muddy colors. Now let's do a little demo. Let's paint something, shall we? So for my demo, I'm gonna use this Canson watercolor paper called Press. I like using this for studies because this is more of a value paper. Not that good of a quality, but just for practice, it's pretty good. And I want to do a flower. I got really inspired by all the nice reds that we have. So, oops, where's the focus? Come on. So I'm gonna do poppy flower, and I'm gonna sketch it in first. And this is a Prismacolor Color Rays pencil, and I like to use these because after painting something, if you have some pencil showing on the side, you can just easily erase it, and if you paint over it, it's not gonna show as much. So we're gonna, let me zoom in. I'm gonna sketch the flower first, and I don't do very detailed sketches, I just do the rough sort of outline, and I like to start with the center because that will be the beginning of all of my petals. And I am doing a very, very light sketch. Let me see if I can zoom in even more so you can see it better. Okay. And this is sort of gonna be that fluffy part that goes around the center. And I like to map out the circle for my petals so they all sort of stay in proportion. I'm gonna paint this at an angle, and I'll just mark sort of this top of the center where they have this sort of this little cap. Okay, I'm not sure where it stopped, but just realized that my camera shut down because my card was full, so we're just gonna resume from here. Okay, so I'm adding 2 more petals just on the side, just to add a little variety to it. And I think I'm gonna move this side petal. You see? So easy to erase. Doesn't leave any marks behind. I'll drop this one down, sort of. Okay, and we'll put a stem here. Alright, so I'm gonna start with my large brush. I really like using this one. It comes to a nice point, and this is size 10 Princeton brush. And I like using large brushes because they hold a lot of water, and they sort of create a much more organic, looser mark. So I'm gonna start with my red here, which looks a lot like cadmium red, and I'm gonna pick up some over here. Now if you don't like this to happen when your paint sort of, you see, comes to one drop, you can take a fine sandpaper and sand this metal mixing palette a little bit, then your color is going to be more spread out in the palette, but that doesn't really bother me. So I'm gonna go in with the color, and as I go in, I like to leave out some space for the highlights, because that is also what helps me create a more realistic effect on my my petals. So I'm just marking the sides, and I'm gonna just leave out some of the random spots for the highlights. And I'm not creating a solid end, because usually, well, poppy is considered as one of the wildflowers, and usually in the wild they have more of a ripped ends from the wind and everything, I guess. But that just instantly helps you create a more realistic effect. And you see, with a large brush like this, you can alternate your marks, going from thinner to thicker. And when you make thicker lines, you also dilute the paint a little bit, so it creates a nicer sort of highlight section. And right now I'm just working with my red. I will add a little bit of more definition to the petals by adding shadows to them, but I will use a different color for that, a different shade of red. Gonna go in. A little too much going on. Okay, and now we have this foreshortened petal, and again, I don't want to create a very sort of stiff petal, so I'm just putting these sort of random brush strokes, marks, that will hopefully just create definition sort of on their own, and the viewer's eye will complete the picture. And this petal, I want to be looking down a little bit. Like that. It's connected here. And we got one more. Actually, this one, I'll curve it up a little bit. And when you paint flowers, in a lot of ways, the direction of your brushstroke defines the angle of the petal. So if you want to angle it a certain way, just direct your brush that way, and that's gonna look more natural. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. No, actually, before I let it dry, I want to pick up a little bit of this magenta color into my red here, a little more, and I'll just put little drops of this color right at the beginning. My paint is drying, actually, my red one. I don't want to add any more water to it, but I just want to darken. Oh, this is nice. This is spreading very nicely. I just want to darken them a little bit at the base. And I will add darker details later too, but just for now. A little bit here. Alright, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll go in with some details at the center. Okay, now my red petals are almost but not too much. So I'm gonna go back to my magenta color and a little bit of red, and I'll start adding a little bit of definition to the petals because their petals are very textured. So I'm just gonna draw some lines with my brush, and I again variate the thickness of my lines, and this just adds some creases in these petals, and by that we're gonna add more definition to them. So I'm just using this sort of cadmium red and my magenta color here, and again you can add some curvature by changing the direction of your line. You see I'm adding a little bit of curve at the top, and then as I go down I curve it inside into my flower. And the same here, we can curve that so as if this petal is curving out. I hope I'm making sense. Let me know in the comments if this is confusing, if you need more precise directions. And again, for this one, I'm gonna curve this one a little bit. And I always start from the center because it helps me preserve sort of the sense of direction. But sometimes I go from the outside in, and I just imagine as if this was a three-dimensional flower, how would these creases look on the flower? So this is not, I'm not going very random with them. I'm still trying to think of how would it look in real life. Again, well, this last petal is a little too dry for the details, so I'm gonna put in some at the center, but you see they're gonna blend in the end. Well, that's okay, no big deal. We can go back later and reinforce them later. Alright, we got the details. Now I think the red is drying up. I'm gonna put a stem in, and I want to use this light green and a little bit of yellow ochre to make warmer, and I think I'm gonna use just a little bit of this blue color, like Prussian blue, whatever that is. And I can test this on the side. Yeah, this is good. I can use it even more. And I like this contrast in poppies between very warm bright red petals and their cooler colors in the stems. And I'll do a little color swatch actually on the sides for the colors that I've used so far. So we can keep track of our colors. Okay, now also since our fly is drying up, we can go back to the center, and I'm using a smaller brush. This is Silverwhite round size 4. And I'm going to use some of this blue color here, my darker blue. This actually looks very nice as it is, but actually I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to add a little bit of the darker detail. And I'm gonna go in with sort of these fuzzy textures in the center, and I'm using the very tip of my brush. My petals are dry, almost dry at this point, I'll say, and I'm keeping this very sort of loose and organic, not going into too many details. If you know the proper name of this fuzzy part in the middle, please let me know in the comments, because I just always come up with random names instead of using the proper names. And now, well, this is what I'm gonna darken this middle part a little bit. And usually what I do for darkening is I mix my black color by using blue and some earth color. In this case we have what looks like a burnt umber, and this creates a nice dark rich sort of greenish color even. I'm gonna add a little more blue to that. Yes, that's better. And we're gonna put just some of the darker, almost black details to add some depth in the center. And I forgot to mark my blue for the color swatch. Okay, while that is drying a little bit, because we still have to do the center, I'm gonna use a little bit of my blue and just a little bit of this sort of green mixture that we made with burnt sienna, burnt umber, and I'm gonna add some just darker accents to the middle of the flower. And since we are using warm red and a cool blue, when they overlap they actually create this very neutral color, almost black, so it's not too purple, because warmer reds have more orange to them, and orange is a complementary of blue, so they're gonna create this darker color. And I'm just gonna add these details that are sort of at the base of the petals of the poppy. And I'm just using the very tip, going very lightly, not to add too much. Okay. Okay, I think that's gonna be good. I'm gonna add a little more over here, and I can use a little more darkness. Okay, now we can add a little more definition to our stem. I'm using some of my brighter green and a little bit of burnt sienna. And if you looked, yeah, this is good. And if you look at the stem of the puppy, it has little dots on it, speckles. So I'm gonna add a little bit of darker color here at the base, sort of at the stem, and then as I go down, I'm just gonna add some of these dots in sort of in a random pattern. And as I'm going down and losing some of the colors, it becomes more faded. And if you think you've done too much, you can always take a piece of paper towel, and as it's still wet, you can pick up some of the pigment. Like that. Okay, well, I think we can add a little more shadow in it. Maybe some of our blue colors, put up some of our darker colors. Oh, that's nicer. Okay, now we're ready to go with the center. I'll pick up some of my lighter green and my yellow ochre. No, I think I need more green. I want it to be greener. Yes, that should be good. And I'm gonna add the center part. Too much water. I'm gonna add the center part. And it's okay if it blends with some of the blue on the sides, because it adds sort of a little bit of definition and depth to it. with the fact that it's blending, I'm actually gonna add some darker color on the sides so it blends in even better. And I'll pick up some of the color at the top here. While that is drying, we can go back to our bottom petal here and sort of reinforce some of the creases that blended in because our petal was still wet at that point. You can go back to other petals if you need to add even more definition to them. And I'm just moving some of this darker color back out of the center, just so it's not going too much inside, because we want to keep it sort of lighter for contrast. And I'm gonna let it dry for a second, and then we'll add the very final details in the center. Okay, now that the center is almost dry, I'm just gonna add the final details to the top. The puppy centers usually have this sort of like a cap on the top of it. And I was saying I'm not gonna go into too many details, and here I am feeding the final details, but oh well. And I'm just gonna darken the sides of it even a little bit more. And that's it for our puppy. So overall, I haven't used too many colors for this illustration. I was very happy with the way they mix and how vibrant they are. And you can see it closer, just how much vibrancy and coverage is in this color. The pigments are so rich and nice, and I want to mention that this is not sponsored in any way. I purchased this palette myself, and this is just my honest opinion because I really wanted to try these watercolors and review them for you guys. So let me know in the comments what you think and whether you tried this or not, or if you tried any other of their sets. I know they have a lot of other beautiful sets, and what I might do in the future is just purchase individual pans with some other colors and just insert them in the inside spot here. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, give me a like, leave a comment, do whatever, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!